back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast for something a bit different than what we usually do on this channel. It's still Arsenal related, of course, as by the title. We're going to start doing bet throughout the window, starting off with the window's not open officially until Sunday, because the business is starting to get underway with other clubs as well, and we are heavily linked with making moves early in the window as well. So I thought, what's the wait until Sunday onwards to start doing this? We'll start a couple of days early. Get in there, get my thoughts, get your thoughts as well in the chat as well. Go back and forth on that, on the respective subjects we're going to touch on today, Joao Felix and Mudryk, and any possible outgoings as well. But not going to be this. Just to be clear, this transfer show that we're going to be doing on the channel, it's not going to be a daily, everyday thing, because otherwise, for me, it becomes repetitive because you talk about the same thing over and over and over again. Unless there's like certain subjects like we're going to be touching on today, unless there's like an update, positively or negatively, then we come back and touch on things like that. So like every other day sort of show basically going forward for the month of January, basically for the entire window, finishing off on deadline day with a deadline day special where I'm going to come on with a few guys and just kill the time. If we made any transfers, talk about them. If we're linked with on that deadline day or outgoings, talk about that as well. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But yeah, just before we get underway, the first topic of today. This will be very short, by the way, these lives. BX Gunner says, hello back to you. Random, better take it. Hope you can be one friend, and obviously getting ready for tomorrow's last game of the calendar year against Brighton. But yeah, we'll get onto it now. The first topic of today we're touching on it, the big one, the big story that's been circulating for weeks now, building up, and now it's got to a point where, we made a bid for the player, and the player in question is Mudryk of Shakhtar Donetsk, Ukrainian 19-year-old. He's only played a handful of games this season in the Champions League. Shone in that. He's a regular for Shakhtar in their domestic league. Obviously, they're now on a break now until their new season gets underway next year now. And yeah, I mean, a bit of context into this. Obviously, rumours of us looking at Mudryk started around near the end of the last window in the summer. But it seems like we left a bit too late to sort of make any initial, not inquiries, but because we made the inquiries to make sure it was available and we went to sell, etc., etc. We'd already made them inquiries, but it seems we were too late making the offer, getting offers in to sort of get the deal done in there and then. So then, because that was the case, we then literally used from the deadline day of the summer all the way up till now to put more videos. Agree the personal terms with the player and his people, his agents and all that. Agree all the personal terms, and now we're literally to the point where we are back and forth with the respective club in Shakhtar, trying to organise a fee. Shakhtar, from the get-go, are demanding around the Jack Grealish. Their words, the Jack Grealish range of how much they want, around the 100 million range. Since that, obviously, that's been let out to us, all that information. David Ornstein was on the. I'm trying to think now. He was at Annan Road from Leeds versus Man City the other night on an American broadcasting channel, and he was asked about the transfers, Arsenal, etc., etc. And he's basically put it out there that from people he knows close to the ground, working around all this, that Shakhtar, even though they're saying this is a figure of 100 mil roundabout they want, they will be willing to work with Arsenal if it meant coming down a bit lower than what their initial asking price is. They will accept it as long as the package and the offer and the package in general is deemed worthy enough to suck up a few 20, 30 mil, whatever, depending on how far away from the 100 we thought we finalised a deal at. And then literally about an hour ago on Mr. Thomas, Shakhtar will do what I tell them to do. Behave yourself, Tom. But an hour ago, before we're going live at 3 o'clock, more information has come out. I'm going to put it up on the screen in a second. From multiple sources. I'm going to put all saying the same thing, but I've grabbed one. I'm going to put it on the screen in a second. One of the tweets, but they're all saying the exact same thing. Saying that after the first offer of £40 million plus 20 million on add-ons was rejected in euros, by the way, 40 million euros plus 20 million euros in add-ons was rejected initially, the first bid. Arsenal went away, spoke to the club, Shakhtar, and apparently they've come back with a new bid. Oh. And yeah, that's what the information on the screen here, with me. And this comes from, get on my screen bigger. The initial comments come from Steve K. That part of it anyway does. I've checked myself, and the first chunk of this was on your screen now. Hashtag Arsenal and Shakhtar are now in talks to discuss the structure of the agreement for Mudryk. Comes from multiple journalists in and around Italy, Ukraine, Spain, Germany, even English. Media outlets, not Ornstein, not Charles Watch yet, not yet anyway. But that'll be in the next few hours, I say. But apparently, as I guys want to say, as told, an around £75 million, 75 million euro deal. Sorry, that's 60 million, and plus an extra 50 million in add-ons could satisfy both sides. The next 48 to 72 hours will be crucial in the negotiations, and the journalist does at Steve K on Twitter as well, because he's the one that initially put this information out there, and they've done the journals have done all their checks, and before they do their bit, and they've put it out there as well. Yeah. And Mr. Tom will do what I did him to do. Got Nemeth in the chat. Big up Sam, by the way. Nemeth is saying Arsenal always take so long getting deals up. I mean, to be fair, to respond to that comment, I mean, they don't want to be ripped off. They don't. Would you really want Arsenal, with all due respect? I know the kid's a potential huge talent, because he's a kid. We've got to remember. We have to remember this as well. He's not exactly, with all due respect as well, he's not exactly coming from a competitive, high-intensity league like Premier League is, with all due respect, even though he has shown he can turn up at the big stage in terms of Champions League. He did really well there from what I watched this season in the group stages. But 100 million, really? When the club, when it turns out the club's actual general worth in Shakhtar is £150 million. They want £100 million for one player. Yeah, he's a potentially world-class player on their hands here. But in any day and age, there's a lot of money to part company with. And I think Sam's mentioned it in the chat. Look what we did. Look at Pepe. Go back to Pepe. Again, everyone was pounding on, oh, we've got to get Pepe. No matter what the cost, it's not our money. Spend the money, get the money. They want this, you pay it. Arsenal paid their money, and look what's happened with Pepe there. It hasn't worked out, and now he's back on loan in Ligue 1, and he isn't working on his loan in Ligue 1 by the looks of it. And financially, that backfired on them. They're still paying that deal off as well, because that was the price, but in structured payments over X amount of years, and they're still paying that deal off, but it hasn't worked. So my point is, do you really want Arsenal to then not learn from that mistake and make the same mistake again with Mudryk, with all due respect, again, a younger player, young kid, again, massive prospect, we've been told. And if it doesn't work out, then what? And again, look at not just the Arsenal fan base in general get on his back. If things don't get, we saw it with Pepe. I mean, Pepe comes in as well. Just go back to Pepe as well. As Sam mentioned in the chat, when he arrived, Pepe. He didn't hit the ground running straight away. Obviously, the media and the other fan base will get in on our 80 odd million pound down the drain. What a waste of money. But if our own fans, after what 2-3 games that he'd played for the club, had already written him off and like, oh, what a waste of money. We needed to get Zaha. I don't make Zaha, so I don't agree with that. Even though Pepe hasn't worked out, I still don't agree with that. So imagine we buy this kid. We go, fuck it. We know what. Arsenal go, fuck it. You know what? You want 100 mil? We want the player. Boom. There's the thing. It makes no sense because then there's a potential of Pete the same mistake. And if it doesn't work out with Mudryk, and again, he's a young kid as well, so he's not going to be played straight away, not starting anything. He'll be dribs and drabs. He'll be eased into the squad slowly and surely. But even in them games where he gets eased in, if he doesn't, because of the price tag of the 100 mil around his neck that he, by the way, doesn't ask for, the media, the other fans, and some of our own fans will be on his back again. It's like, and that's what I'm saying. You've got to learn from your own mistakes here. I mean, the price tag to be high enough as it is, by the looks of it, 75 million altogether in euros. If that's the case, if that's the agreed deal on the table, and we've just now got to sort out the nooks and crannies of the bonuses and this, that, and the other to make it more lucrative for Shakhtar to go, okay, there you go. And also, another reason why it'd be stupid to spend 100 mil and bow to Shakhtar's demands is because it's been made perfectly clear in interviews with Zinchenko's other half, his wife, Ukrainian interviews he's had with his wife, Zinchenko's wife, saying, if I was given the option of Real Madrid or Arsenal, I'd pick Arsenal for this reason, X, Y, and Z. I'm an Arsenal fan, And then on Boxing Day, most recently, he's twerking his arse off, by the way. He's been twerking his arse off to come to Arsenal for the last 4 to 5 months, since the window closed in the summer. The biggest twerk he's done recently was Boxing Day. On his Instagram, literally posting that he was watching Arsenal play West Ham live, wherever he's living at the moment. If that is not a massive, please take me, Arsenal, come get me, get this deal sorted, I don't know what is. So going back to the 100 million thing, Shakhtar have nothing to back. They have no cards on the table, really. Yes, they own the player. He's under contract. But in that, Arsenal actually hold all the cards here because it's a situation where we want the player. The player wants to come to us. Desperately wants to come to us. Shakhtar just own the player at this moment in time, and they're looking to sell. So they can't really. I think by the fact that they've come back to the table with Arsenal and they are negotiating another fee and they're willing to come down in price of the 100 million down within reason, speaks volumes. That they know they don't hold the cards like Arsenal do in this situation. If Mudryk wasn't twerking his arse off and basically saying, given the choice, I'd love to play for Arsenal. Arsenal is my team. That's a team I've always watched growing up. Saying all them things. If you hadn't said any of that and kept quiet, how can I put it? Shakhtar would hold all the cards then, but they don't, because he hasn't done that. He's done the complete opposite of as I've been saying up to recent Boxing Day. I think because of what he then posted out on Boxing Day on his Instagram, showing that he was watching the Arsenal game against West Ham, that sort of forced the hands of Shakhtar to go, you know what, we need to get around the table and just get the best offer we could possibly get, the best offer we can get from Arsenal here, and just run with it. Oh, dear. But I'm going to take a pretty breather there, so I do ramble on a bit sometimes. Just go back into the chat. We will get onto this in a minute, but near the end of the stream, by the way, the Martinelli Saliba Saka situation in terms of their new contracts, potentially. But I agree with you there, by the way, just to put it out there. I once are. I'm probably the only person nowadays, but he's too old now either way. I think because of his antics, I think it's more so because of his antics at United when he was there. It really, for me, didn't bode well. And I've never sort of seen him then when he was linked with us, even under Emery, when we wanted him. I didn't really. Yeah, he's an Arsenal fan. Yeah, he's Premier League proven, but the stats, he's just showed to me. It wouldn't be good enough for us. He's not Arsenal quality. And then we see the antics, and even since then, let's be honest. What has he done since the whole Arsenal Zaha to Arsenal thing broke down that summer? And he's been kicking off even under the last year or so under Roy Hodgson, and even now there's still questions of he's staying or going because it looks like he's running his contract out potentially at the moment as we speak. What has he done to show not just Arsenal fans like myself that have this mindset, but clubs around Europe, because he wants to play at the main stage in Champions League and all that in his career? What has he shown on the pitch that consistently, by the way, not just one-off games, consistently to show he's worth taking the risk on? For me, I haven't seen nothing. I personally haven't seen nothing, but we'll see. BX is saying it shows he's 19 years of age, though he looks desperate and completely disrespectful to his club. He could push a transfer differently. I mean, he could have done. Let's be honest. We've seen worse antics being played out over the years. BX with other players wanting to move and all that. We've seen a lot worse. Lukaku. I mean, we saw Lukaku last year doing interviews. Halfway through the season last year, when Chelsea on the trying to mount a title charge, whilst he was injured, he's off in Italy having interviews, going, "Come get me Inter, come get me. I want back into working for them." So we've seen a lot worse. I think just to add another factor into another reason why he wants to leave Shakhtar and come to a club like Arsenal is because the potential to prove himself on the big stage at such a young age, but obviously seeing the model, in terms of Arsenal, he's seen the model we are building at the club. It's attractive to players like him, and looks like we will be back in Champions League next season, touch wood. What better way to prove yourself not just on the big stage, but at a high level with one of the biggest clubs in Europe? And again, he's got competition. It's not going to be the thing of we're going to spend the money on this kid and straight away he's in the team. Because of his age, you say he's 19, and things like this we worked on behind the scenes. How he conducts himself. That all straight from the off. As soon as if we do this deal, get this deal done, as soon as he's through the door, it will be welcome to the club. This is the code of conduct. This is how we conduct ourselves, not just I and whatever. We as a club, this is how we work together and conduct ourselves on and off the pitch. And because if the deal does get done now, because it's literally halfway through the season, he would have these few months this season where obviously he'd be eased in, dropped in every now and then here and then everywhere, the old appearance here, that. But it'll be the learning curve months, basically. Like when we bought Jose Antonio Reyes in 2003-04 season in the January window. Wenger's mindset was bring him in now and use the 6 months of the remaining season to bleed him in, ease him in, get him used to the culture and everything in terms of how the league operates. The next season, unleash him. I think this is potentially a similar situation where we use these few months to ease him in, get him used to the culture, have him learn how to conduct himself, how to behave on and off the pitch, and how the club itself, how we represent, how classy we are as a club, and as I say, how we represent on and off the pitch. basically, in a positive sense. And then next season, because he's got the remainder of this season, he's got the pre-season as well, and then boom, September onwards, bang. And then September comes at beginning of next season, you start giving him starts in the odd games here, there, and everywhere. Especially being back in Champions League, giving him starts against lesser teams. And you allow him to fight then. You allow him to fight for his spot. If he wants to be a starting 11 player for this club, he now knows he has to fight because he's going to overcome Martinelli, Smith-Rowe, Fabio Vieira, Saka, Jesus, depending on where he actually wants to play at this club. He wants to play out in the wing or down the middle or wherever. Even though he's predominantly a winger at Shakhtar in the Ukraine. But you'd have options because this is another thing about it. He does like to have players that are versatile, even if they don't come as a versatile player. He likes to mould them to be that versatile player. I mean, we've seen with Saka when Arteta first arrived, Saka was out and he came through as a left-sided player, left wing player, basically. But he was playing that left wing back and things like that. So he played left wing back, left back at the start. He's now made the right wing his own. That's his position, but he can play, if called upon, other positions. And that's another thing Mudryk will learn at Arsenal. He's probably seen that thinking, that's another reason why I want to go to Arsenal, because that would make me an even better player. The more versatile I am, the more lucrative I am to my nation when the internationals come along for qualifying for World Cups and Euros and all that. Fury is saying, personally, I'll do the same thing. You don't know if you'll get the chance again. That's why some players do everything they can to leave BX. In terms of obviously referring to how Mudryk has conducted himself in this whole thing, twerking and come get me. But I personally don't have a problem with it. As I say, coming to a club like Arsenal as well, with the whole structure's been rebuilt over the last 3 years, so under Arteta and Edu and the club in general, the ethos and how things have gone back to how they once were. How you're at Arsenal, you represent on and off the pitch. If you step out of the line, you're at the door basically. We've seen it with Guendouzi, we've seen it with Aubameyang, Özil, Mustafi, Sokratis. If you don't toe the line and you don't follow the rules that have been put in place, there's no sort of bending the rules for you because you're a senior player or whatever. You are straight and narrow. This is the situation. If you bend the rules, you're out. And because we've done it, especially most recently with Aubameyang, that'll be still ringing around the club as well. And the players, anyone comes in, the players that have been here for the last 12 months will be around at home as well. I'd rather an experienced veteran in the lineup against Newcastle, Tottenham, and United, etc., ready to go. I think with Mudryk, he won't be a starter. He'll be more of a he'll be on the bench initially. Once he gets in, once he's got his fitness up and all that, because obviously he's out of season at the moment in terms of their season's finished in Ukraine. Once he's got his training, got used to the system, he's built a relationship with the teammates, he'll eventually work himself onto the bench and then work himself from now on in. And I don't think, again, with Mudryk, he's not the only, we'll get on in a minute, he's not the only player we're looking at. There's other senior players we are looking at, which we'll get on in a sec, in that position where they can if we can get it done early enough, they'll come in and they'll be straight in the lineup basically because of the situation up front with Jesus. They will be put in the lineup straight away. BX is saying kindly, yes, guys, I'll be massively appreciated if you could do smash the likes. If you're new to the channel, do subscribe to the channel. If you want to be a member, all the details are coming across the screen now. There's 2 levels, 99p, £2.99. It's an option. It's not a necessity. Because of the cost of living crisis, not just in England, but in and around Europe and the world. It's not a necessity, but it's there as an option, and it's a month-to-month thing, so you can cancel at any time if you have to. I'd love to break into cheese making factory. Bloody, that's a bit random, Tom, but bloody hell. But yeah, do I see this deal getting done? Before we move on, do I see? Yeah, being how aggressive we are in this compared to last year. Look at last year with Vlahovic. We were linked with him. We made offers, but we weren't aggressive like we are now. The window's not even open yet, and we're trying to get the deal done before the window opens, so he can get over here, have his medical, get used to the cult, the weather, the culture, the playing style, his new teammates, etc. So we're trying to get done ASAP, so he can literally eventually put him into the match day squads and all that, like FA Cup against Oxford and the bench and the bench for the league games, etc. So I do honestly, let's finish this off. I do think we will go ahead and get this done, dusted, no problem whatsoever. When? Potentially, don't hold me to this, by the way, but I wouldn't be surprised if early next week we get confirmation that the deal's done and dusted and he's on his way for his medical. Martinelli, Saka, Eddie needs substitutions. In comes Zaha. It's the difference maker. He's a no-brainer. But he's not going to again. I don't rate Zaha personally. Everyone knows my thoughts on Zaha coming to Arsenal from day dot. I've never been. No, not for me. But other people have different opinions. It's all good. We can all have discussions here. Just to put it like this, would Zaha come from being a starter at Palace to being a sub at Arsenal? Even taking out the equation that we're in a title charge as we speak, we're out in the title challenge. Would he come here to be a bench warmer? You're going to see in his attitude again. Another thing with him is his attitude still. That does me. Do you really want to bring a player in after all the work we've done to build the unity in this club, in this squad? Do you really want to risk tearing that all up and throwing it all down the drain for a player who's near the end of his career? As you say, Bex, he's in his 30s. He's come to the end of his career, and constantly throws a wobble every 5 minutes. For me, it's just not for me. Yeah, for me, it's not for me. But other people like yourself can have your opinions. We have that discussion on this channel. We don't dig people out and all that. Like, you're wrong. It's my way or no way. January 1st, I want a medical, mate. Happy New Year. We've got a player. Bloody hell, that's called fast acting in like an Arsenal. Trust me. No slowing down on that side of things. Oh dear, I'm going to take this down now. I'm going to move on to our next subject, which is Joao Felix. Again, another player that we've been linked with about 2.5-3 weeks ago. During the World Cup, when he announced he wanted out of Atletico Madrid, he wanted to leave Atletico, he wanted a new project elsewhere in Europe because he doesn't believe Simeone is the right manager for him. He's holding him back, etc., etc. And then since he's announced that, obviously Arsenal, amongst other clubs in Europe, are Man United, PSG, just to name a few, have been heavily linked with Joao Felix. In the last few days, it's become apparent that Atletico would only entertain a loan deal with potential options to buy if the player still wants to leave come the summer. With Joao Felix, again, young player, again, massive prospect, hasn't really hit the heights in Atletico like people expected. Atletico paid a lot of money. Was it 100? That was a lot of money back. I'm trying to think now. Was it 128+ million pounds they paid for him? It'd be a lot more than that probably actually. He's running around about that few years back, and he's never really hit the heights. Again, it's not that. I think that's more down to the play. For me, it's more with this situation. It's more down to the playing style of the manager. How the manager wants his players to play and conduct themselves on the pitch and all that. The playing style. And for me, it's just him going from Benfica to Atletico made no sense because of Simeone. Because Simeone doesn't like the flair attacking players. He likes these players to be structured and more defence-minded. And then the first thought is always the defence. Attack, it will come, basically. It's Simeone's sort of ethos. And yeah, it's just joining after out of nowhere. After their first World Cup game for Portugal, he decided, no, I want out of Atletico. But as I say, more recently, in the last couple of days, it's becoming that Atletico would entertain a deal which is a loan deal currently. And then reevaluate things with the player come the summer, depending on if Simeone still at the club or not. For me, it's a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer. He would fit perfectly here at Arsenal under Arteta's Arteta's leadership and coaching roles. He would be perfect. You can't, and again, this is what I'm referring to before in terms of we're linked to players, experienced players that can come in, and basically straight away in the starting lineup, and he would adapt in no time. I've no doubts, and you'll see you would honestly see a more of the Joao Felix we saw in the World Cup, more of the Joao Felix we saw when he was at Benfica, than what we've seen of Joao Felix in an Atletico Madrid shirt majority of the time. And you can tell I've watched Atletico games in Atletico been in the Champions League the last couple of years, and you can tell he's a frustrated player because he's not been allowed to utilise his strengths because he feels like he's been held back. And he's finally realised that, and at Arsenal, Arteta would allow him to express himself going forward. Not he want his players to put a shift in defensively off the ball, but on the ball you'll see that Joao Felix can, if not more, a more upgraded Joao Felix into what we saw at Benfica, because obviously it's been a few years now. Beatrix has touched on it in the chat about the prices and all that. We can get Felix for 6 months for £13 million, and not going over Zaha. Don't go there again. That adds massive options for us. We're not going to go get Zaha thing. I'm not going down that rabbit hole again. But yes, but Joao Felix makes it's an absolute. It makes sense. The way he wants to play, it makes sense because of how we play and how we're doing this season. And he'll fit in the team. It gives us options as well. Even if he's not an immediate start, it gives us options from the bench, as you say. And then if he proves himself coming off the bench and consistently is putting the shift in and proving himself to warrant a start, then you can rotate as well. Especially we've got Europe back in a few weeks' time, and come February, we'll have European football back. You need them options, otherwise we're going to run ourselves into the ground, and I don't want that, especially in the title charge. I don't want that. Please remember to like and subscribe kindly, everyone. Yeah, again, it'd be massively appreciated if you do. If you're new to the channel, do subscribe to the channel. Get your comments in the chat as well. Give me your thoughts as well. Even if you're a neutral fan, give me your thoughts as well. Or not just Arsenal, but if you're, depending on who you support, your club as well. And obviously Joao Felix last night. He's played for Atletico last night against Elche. It was like 1 point 10 v 10 in the second half. At the start of the second half, it was 10 v 10. But obviously he scored in that game, and a 2-0 win for Atletico. Eventually it was like 10 men versus 9. Elche got another place at near the end of their game. But yeah, but he did score. So he's ready. So not only, unlike with Mudryk, who would need time before he's even on the bench to a week or so to train with the team before he's even put on the bench, because of La Liga, because of the World Cup, and then La Liga's got underway again. Match fitness won't be an issue with Joao Felix whatsoever. It'll be okay. He's here, signed on the dotted line, got his medical. His match fitness isn't an issue, but we'll ease him in again. We'll put him on the bench for this game. He'll bring him on, and then he can prove himself over the course of time in terms of being possible to start at some point in the latter stages of this season when it matters most in the business end. It could backfire, but if it doesn't, look, the £13 million for a 6-month loan deal, because of the wages that it adds up to that and all that jazz. He comes in and has an impact, a positive impact on the club, on the pitch, and we get the goals that get us the league title. Is anyone going to complain? Especially then come the summer, there's going to be more call from the fans then for Arsenal to make the deal like we did with Odegaard, make the deal permanent, get him in a full-time basis, ready for the Champions League next season, because he's got Champions League experience as well, which is going to be crucial going into next season. Because the bulk of our current squad don't have that. The only player I think that has Champions League experience is Xhaka and Partey. And obviously Jesus, but he was more of a bet part. He was more of a sub role, wasn't he, at Man City? But yeah, so that's 3 players. Martinelli's never played Champions League. Saka's never played Champions League. Fabio Vieira has for last season, so he's got a bit of experience, but not a lot. Smith Rowe hasn't played Champions League. I'm trying to think. Odegaard's never played Champions League as well. Ben White hasn't. Gabriel hasn't, because obviously he left when Lille got into the Champions League, so he didn't get playing Champions League football. Saliba again has for a season when he was at was he? No, he's got experience at European, but not Champions League. He's never played Champions League football. Saliba, yeah. Tierney has, but that's what the group stages. Well, not in the group stages, it's a knockout round, so you can't really give that experience. Call that experience, sorry. Ramsdale's never played in Champions League, so we do need to have players on the books that have that experience on the Champions League level. Otherwise, it's going to be a huge culture shock for most of this squad next season. And another reason why it's a no-brainer, you get them in now. If it turns out to be a positive impact and helps us either win that league title or just shy of it, but has a positive impact anyway in scoring goals and creating goals, etc. Us as fans will be able to put the pressure on the club to go, look what he's done for us in X amount of months. What can he do for us permanently on a week-to-week basis? Get him signed up, and with the fact that we'll be in Champions League, they'll be more inclined to spend that sort of money on bringing Joao Felix in on a permanent basis. We've got on the Stoop Brooklands Premier League fans, so in the chat says, hi Ryan, hi back to you, hope you're keeping well. You've got a show tonight at midnight my time anyway. Rest in peace, Pele. Looking forward to seeing Mudryk in an Arsenal shirt. Hopefully we can pull off Joao Felix as well, mate. We've already touched on Mudryk as well, but in terms of how Arsenal, just before you start wrapping things up, how we've addressed how Arsenal have conducted themselves compared to 12 months ago, where we were linked with Valverde, and we did make offers, but it just seems like that was the only person who was looking at. And he was clearly holding out, or his agent was clearly holding out till you see if Juventus came in. And if they didn't, we would be a second option. And again, as we're now seeing, now he's now settled there. After he had a little burst of a new club burst, it hasn't worked out for him. And now Juventus are in financial disarray, shock horror there. And there's rumours that he could be used as a collateral damage in terms of make some money out of him and a few other players at Juventus. None of them I'm interested in, by the way. But my point is, I was only sort of looking at him last year, and we made offers, but we weren't really aggressive. And basically, before Juventus came in, going, "No, we want you, mate. Come on, this you could be the guy that gets us over the line in terms of getting us back in the Champions League." You don't realise how huge that would be for us after X amount of years of being out of the Champions League. But it is what it is, and he made his bed. He has to lie in it now. But my point is that, from terms of an Arsenal perspective, it was sort of all the eggs in one basket, and we sort of didn't have any other options, or we weren't looking at anyone else to come in last January. And going by what we're seeing, how Arsenal conduct themselves before the windows even opened, we're already on the verge of making a second bid officially. In the public eye anyway, an official second bid for Mudryk. We're looking to try and get Joao Felix in as well, on loan with an option to buy, depending on how the 6 months goes. We are looking at central midfielders. We are being proactive. We're not just laying our laurels and going, well, we have our first list, and that'll be it. We've got actually more than one person on the list. We've got a list of players, and we're going, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. And we've been aggressive as well. We've been proactive, but we've been aggressive at the same time. And you can't ask for much more than that. The only thing we have to do, obviously, you can't just be aggressive, but you've got to get the deals over the line. If they can get the deals done nice and early in this January window, that's even better, because it's a league wise, it's a very tense month in the league games. Newcastle next Tuesday, then literally 10 days later we've got Tottenham in the North London derby away. Then the week after that we've got Man United at home. League wise, and Man City have got tough games as well. I'm going to get into that as well. I've seen their fixtures, so it's not so bad. But in the sense of we've got tough games, they've got easy games. We've both got our rivals basically in and around us. But my point is getting them in early, get them in settled. So come North London derby, come Man United at home, we're ready, and they are ready to play. We're not doing it lastminute.com at the end of a window and going, right, you're going to see them at Everton away in February or whatever. It's no, we want to play. These are the players we want. We want them now. We're not going to mess about. We're not dragging it out like we usually do. We're going, okay, we've been aggressive. These are the offers. Let's get it done. And even how Arteta was conducting himself in his press conference before the West Ham game, and how, in terms of basically saying we learned from our mistake of last year, we can't afford not to bring anyone in. We're not at that stage yet as a club. We're not at that stage yet. We realised that last year, and now we're being proactive, and you can't ask for much more than that. Be that proactive, be that aggressive, and what goes in our favour as well in terms of these players, Mudryk, Joao Felix, we're in a title charge. We're looking to get back in the Champions League. These players could be part of something in terms of the title charge itself. These players were to come in and add the options, and we've been discussing in this stream, and add that bit more experience in the squad as well. If that then leads us to win the league, pip City to the title, that's huge. For what will be 19 years this May, we don't not winning the league title. If we win the league title after 19, and you're part of that squad that's done it, the first time in 19 years, you are gods to us, no matter what. But even if you fall shy, it's the potential is there. It's the excitement of what we're building at this club as well. Even if we don't win the league, just talking from another perspective. If they come in, but we just missed out. We just missed out by a point or whatever of a league title. It's the excitement of being part of a young, progressive, vibrant team that's got years ahead of itself going forward. They can go again next season, learn from this, and go again, and potentially win it next year. And this is what we've got to offer now. We've peaked. In my opinion, I wasn't expecting this until next. In terms of us batting a title challenge, I always expected this until next season. This is the season ahead of what I was expecting, especially after how we fell just short of the Champions League spots last year by a point, the way we threw it away ourselves. But again, that shows the mentality of this squad, this team, that the turmoil they went through mentally and physically in them last few weeks of the season, to be able to dust themselves down with a few additions in the summer window and go again and play like we've been playing this season. it just goes again. Massive credit goes back down to Arteta again, and the mentality he's building at this club. That they're not facing these diverse moments where it's sad and disappointment and things like that. And they're not there for months on end, licking their wounds week in, week out, onwards, months and weeks down the line onwards from the incidents in there. They actually know, going, okay, we've been dealt a bad card here. We're not going to let it get to us. We're going to dust ourselves down, and we're going to go again, and we're going to prove all our doubters wrong. And we had it again. Look at the summer. Look how many of the British media, people in the British media, was straight away, no, Arsenal ain't got a chance. Arsenal ain't getting top four again. They blew it. They get nowhere near top four. They'll be lucky if they get sixth. And we've what 15 points ahead of Liverpool, who almost done a quadruple last year. We're 15 points ahead of them. We're 10 plus points ahead of your Tottenhams, your Chelseas, your Uniteds. 5 points clear of City, the best team in the country based on what the squad they've assembled over the last 89 years, whatever. We're with that, I think now we're 5 points ahead. We're 7 points ahead of Newcastle. Again, no one expecting Newcastle to beat, but I'm just trying to prove a point in that. That's all the putting us down in the summer from the media and other rival fans. They've blocked it out. They're not taking it on. They're going, well, let them talk what they want to talk. We're going to do it on the pitch. And the lots of Mudryk, Joao Felixes, and whoever else we're being linked with, they're seeing this, and then that's another thing why they're tipping towards coming to us, because they see it and they think, you know what, I want to be a part of that. And it's so good as an Arsenal fan to have that feeling that what we've built at this club is being respected now in Europe again. And there's only, again, no matter what happens this season, I said it the other night, no matter what happens, if we win the league or we just miss out on the league, there's no going backwards. There's only going forwards, no matter what. Either way, it's a learning curve for this club. For this squad of players, it's a learning curve. They learn from it either way, and then we go win the title. Or not, we go again next year and either try to win it again, defend it, or if we don't win it this season, but we go okay. We've learned. We had that experience. The taste and the excitement it brought us to get so close. Imagine what we're going to do if we win it. Let's go together now. Add a couple more distance. Let's go again, and actually put City out of their place. I can't believe I'm saying this. I honestly think, before about things, I honestly think Arsenal will win the league title. If not this season, next season. It's going by what we're seeing on the pitch. That's all, as fans, that's all we can go by. What we see on a week-to-week basis on the pitch. From what we are seeing, it's only a matter of time now. It's not about if, when, and maybe. It's going to happen. It's a matter of fact. It's going to happen. This season or next season, it's happening. You can clip me up for it and whatever. I'm telling you now, it's going to happen. One way or the other. And from what we're seeing with the rival fans and the media outlets in England, they're hating it. They can't stand it. They don't like that we've just come out of nowhere this season, and we are mounting this title challenge as we speak. So far, touch wood, we're mounting that challenge, and because we're so far ahead of Liverpool and Chelsea, United, and whoever, and Tottenham and all that, they love it. The clubs they all love and all that. They are hating it. They are literally hating it to it irks them. Every win we get irks them. I'm loving that as an Arsenal. I love that. I grew up on that as a young kid, going into my early teens. That's all I had. Pretty much every time, even if we didn't win the title, it's the fact that we were in with a chance of winning the title. It irked the media, and I'm loving it again. That even though we're not the favourites, with all due respect. And we have no with all due respect, we shouldn't be where we are. But we, in terms of the youngest team in the league, and we are where we are against one of them, going toe to toe against a very, very well experienced team that's been here and done it before and got the T-shirt at Man City in terms of being pushed for their titles, etc. In the last few years, they've been there, they've got the T-shirts, but we're still there. We're still going, and it's the basic attitude of, yeah, and so what, we ain't got the experience. We're still gonna put up a fight here. We're not gonna make it easy for you just because you got the experience, guys. And it's irking everyone in the media. It's irking every other rival fan that we're doing so well. It kills them. It pains them. You've got Chelsea fans whinging week in, week out. There's a clip going around on social media of a fucking Tottenham fan calling the league rigged because we're top of the league. Oh, certain players, Saka, Martinelli, Jesus, they never get touched. Jesus, before the World Cup, Jesus was the most foul player in the league. Most foul players, Jesus. So Martinelli, no defender can get near at this moment in time. No defender can get near at this moment in time to even put a challenge in for him. Saka, the same. He's a master of keeping himself away from the player that could potentially put in an potential injury challenge on him. Oh, you've seen it as well, Sam. Not just me. Everyone's seen it. Kevin Campbell actually sent it to me. I woke up this morning to a message from Kevin Campbell. He actually sent that clip to me. I was like, watching it. I was literally pissed myself. In the midst of pissed myself laughing whilst holding my head in my hands, like, is this guy for real? But knowing he's a Tottenham fan, I'm thinking it makes sense. It kills him. It's the fact that we are where we are after 3 years of all due respect to Arteta, who had no experience, by the way. Arteta when he's coming, we all know that. We all know the story. In a space of 3 years now, just over 3 years since he's got the job, he's got the club from where we were, and we were way behind Tottenham. Let's be honest. Let's be brutally honest. Then it does irk and kill to say, but that was the case at the time. But in the space of 3 years, he's just gone, okay. And now we're leapfrogging them. And they've got, and what irks them even more, in that time frame, they've had Mourinho, Mourinho for a year and a half, and then they literally sacked him 6 days before the final. They want a trophy, but they sacked the man that went into trophies before the final. I think I could do that. Spirito Santo briefly, and then Conte is coming at the helm. That's 3 decent managers. I'm trying to be not disrespecting Nuno, but fuck it. 2 world-class managers and a decent manager, basically. That 2 of them are trophy winners. They've won no trophies in that time. I was in the job 5 minutes and won an FA Cup, and then the Community Shield literally a month later. And to add to that we've been now domestic. We have leapfrogged them as a squad. We are above and beyond where they are currently. You take Son out of that team. If Son gets injured, Tottenham. Everyone thinks Tottenham are fucked now. If you take an informed Son out of that, you see what we're seeing now. If not worse. I'm just loving it. But that's irking them even more. And the fact that not only have we leapfrogged them in the space of 3 years under Arteta, with all what I've mentioned about Mourinho and now Conte at the helm, we are in a midst of a total challenge against Man City. The difference is we won't come third. Famous last words, but oh dear, we won't come third. We won't come third to Tottenham anyway. Oh dear. Pepe no experience. we talk about Barcelona. Well, in terms of being a manager of a senior team, no, I get what you're saying, but he was the Barcelona B team, like the youth manager, wasn't he? But yeah, I get what you're saying. He was the youth coach, but yeah, I get what you're saying. He had no experience as well, but it does help. It does help when you have a young, vibrant Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Puyol, Piqué. Trying to think now, Dani Alves. Trying to think, Jordi Alba, David Villa. It does help when you have them sort of players at your disposal. Just a bit. Thierry Henry, he had at his disposal briefly. I think he even had Ronaldinho at one point when he first came in. Saka body bouncing Declan several times was great to see. Saka has added some muscle to his speed and agility now. Yeah, I think I touched on that. I only mentioned this in the Amazon coverage on Boxing Day after the game. We had Saka came over for an interview afterwards. He's like, "Oh, you've been at the gym. I like to see you're adding. You're not just setting for where you were. You're adding and improving your game week by week." What was the key to it? And he goes, Saka goes, "Oh, it's Arteta. He's been fantastic to me. He knows what I can, what my possibilities are now, what they can potentially be, etc. Now, how he works for us all together and individually." But yeah, and then they showed a clip because again, watching the game, obviously you don't notice it in the build up to the goal. When you see the goal, when the goal actually goes, you don't know. You just switch off. You see it's the goal. Wow, fantastic! You completely forget all the build up for a brief moment. But then you watch it they show it back in the replays and all that, and Saka's one of the smallest players on the pitch in that game on Monday, and he is literally bodied one of the biggest players on the pitch in Declan Rice, bodied him literally to the point where Declan's fallen to the floor, and not just once, a few times as well. But it's just like brilliant. It's brilliant. It's good to see that we've got a bit of stillness to our game as well now. We're not just we're not just good technically on the pitch. We've got a bit of still to our game physically. We can go toe to toe. If someone wants to try and kick us off the pitch, we can go, "Well, you can try, mate, but we'll kick you first." Oh dear. I love that. I think that's another thing you got to take hats off to Mikel and the team that have helped build that side of the game that we did lack, even with the great teams that we had under Wenger. Apart from the Vieiras and the Gilbertos of this world that had, and Sol Campbells and Calator's that had that already in them when they arrived, we just added a bit more, obviously, and the Bergkamps and whatever. But our game was more pleasing on the eye. We'll be pleasing on the eye. We really want to get in a physical battle, and as we know, Sir Alex used that to his advantage and stop trying to beat them under prick. And they boast about it to this day because they got away with it. Oh yeah, we did it. And what? Just hope we beat Tottenham at their ground. We have a bad record at Tottenham Hotspur. Yep. I honestly think that, look, we got a couple of games before that in terms of the league. Oxford in the FA Cup is going to be a completely different kettle of fish because it'll be more of a lightened team, not completely like kids or anything like that. I'm saying it'll be a couple of our starting 11 players, a couple being able to word. There'll be a couple on the bench just in case, but it'll be mainly like a B team / like the Europa League, the Europa League players playing basically in that game against Oxford, because just resting them because 6 days later we've got the game at Tottenham. And obviously, as I say, league-wise, we've got Brighton to get away on Saturday, tomorrow night, and then we've got Newcastle on Tuesday to get away first. If again, one game, we keep saying it, one game at a time, but if we were to take at least a bare minimum of 4 points out of Brighton and Newcastle, take it all day long, because especially Newcastle being one of them teams, you take it because how they're doing this season. If that happens, or we get 6 points out of 6, I'll go into that Tottenham game quietly, not overconfident, quietly confident, because still it is getting to say the record at Tottenham isn't exactly fantastic recently. But the way if we do what we got to do in terms of, as I say, 6 points out of 6 going into that Tottenham game, and we'll be the first team going into that Tottenham game as well, because they've got to play more senior players in their cup game, I believe, to go through. And if they play like they did against Brentford, and they have done pretty much most of the season like they did against us as well at the Emirates, they play like that at their place in a couple of weeks' time, I have no doubt, as long as we turn up on the day, we will blow them out the park. And then, for me, not only does that solidify us properly in the title challenge, properly, for me, that'll solidify, Arsenal finishing top 2 come May. Well, I fully agree, Pepper's and coach. I trained very good once when his league got past. That's my point. That's my point when it was mentioned. Like, it sort of does help when he walked into a squad that Frank Rijkaard built, in terms of they had young Messi's, you have Busquets, Iniesta, Xavi, just name a few. David Villa came in, Dani Alves. It does help when you have them players at your disposal. Spurs are two and a half team, or two half team, second half team, I mean, this season. If they only played the first half, they would be in a relegation fight. If only they played the second half. If they only played the second half, they'd be a top 4. They have had luck. They've had a lot of luck, especially in the second half of games. Yeah, I can fully agree with that. Part in Newcastle, second half, they got torn apart in 2 seconds. Apart from that, no, but all due respect, you got a point. I mean, and that's what I'm saying in terms of that North London derby coming up. If the first half, if they play like they have done against us, like they did against us early on in the season, and like they have done pretty much all season, but if they play like that, but we turn up and play our game, they're fucked. They'll be out the game by half time. I have no doubt about it. And that's with or without Kane, who let his country down. I did notice we've got a new face on the channel as I just subbed, so I need to give him a shout out as well. 1 second, get his initial comment. Here we are, Danny Spring in the chat. Welcome, Danny. Hope to see a lot more of you in the channel going forward, my friend, and in the chat. I've got, as you'll see, there's a lot of content we do on this channel, mainly Arsenal, obviously, because it is, as you say, Mr. Arsenal podcast. We do it's all majority Arsenal content. Most recently as well, I don't know if you've seen it yet, I did an interview with an ex-Arsenal player, Paul Davis, a couple of weeks ago. I want to check that out. You can do it later on, or you can listen to it on the go on all audio platforms, Spotify, etc., etc. But welcome to the channel. Hopefully to see a lot more of you, my friend, and hope to see more of you in the chat and engage with some of the regulars. In reality, I just want Arsenal to win one game, the next game. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying. I'm just speaking of hypothetically in the context of what's been mentioned in the chat. If we can, Danny's saying, if we can get to the end of January without losing another game, we'll be in a great position for a full title challenge. We're talking about that. Bear with me a second. I just got my phone because someone in one of the group chats on Twitter sent me an image of basically Man City's fixtures from tomorrow till the start of February. Interesting reading, put it that way. So basically, I don't even have to. I remember actually, most of them anyway. They've got Obviously, you've got Everton tomorrow. They'll probably win that at home as well. More likely going to just blow them at the water. I mean, Man City blow Tottenham at the water. Man City blow Everton at the water. Sadly, because Frank Lampard's a shit manager, and he'll just go there and go, take the 3 points. Meaning we'll have to win to make it our 5-point gap still. They've then got Chelsea next Thursday in the league, then Chelsea again in the FA Cup over the weekend. That's going to be that in itself. I mentioned that in itself could be huge in so many aspects, not just because of the FA Cup side, in terms of the FA Cup, how far they go in that. They do get through that, but in terms of the league as well, because they've got to go full strength in both games. Both teams have got to go full strength, so that could do us a favour. Because at least with our after Newcastle, we've got with all due respect Oxford away. We can rest a few players ahead of Tottenham. So yeah, so Chelsea in the cup, and then they've got Man United. The week we've got Tottenham, they've got Man United away, which could be interesting now. Now they haven't got no distractions in Ronaldo there. That could be an interesting one. Potential points dropped. Could be dropped there from Man City's perspective. Could. I'm not saying it will. Could. They've then got another league game. I can't remember who it was now. Need to check that actually. Need to double check. And then they've got start of February. They have got Tottenham, which is basically usually 3 points of Tottenham basically coming on. It has been for the last couple of years anyway. Tottenham seem to have Man City's number. So I've got this strange feeling though, because Arsenal in the title challenge, Tottenham might take a hit in that game. Especially if we beat them in the North London Derby final. Let's look at the other game 1 second. The other game is 1 second. Oh dear. Wait. Give me a second. Oh, you winnable game. I think there's one win after Everton tomorrow. I think that the fixtures are shown, they've got one winnable game. There we go. Yeah. So we've got Everton tomorrow, Chelsea next Thursday, United on the 14th, Wolves at home on the 21st, and then Tottenham. So as bad as hectic as it is and tough fixtures we've got as well, they've got tough fixtures as well, which can only benefit us as well going forward. So it's not like we've got 3 tough games in terms of Newcastle, Tottenham, Man United, and it's not like then Man City have got a load of easy games. Man City have got a load of easy games that they can catch us basically. Sam saying, I feel if we get past January with a few points ahead, we're in a good place here. I was saying this the other night. I don't know if you was in the chat, Sam, but after finding myself for the Leeds game against Man City, I was basically saying that. I was literally saying, obviously game by game, but if come full-time whistle against Man United, we are 5 points or 4 points or 5 points or 6, 7, whatever. If it's 5 points or 4 points, it's still, I'll take it. I'll take it and fucking run with it. As I say, if that's the case, not only are we are officially then in the top. No one can dispute then that we're in a title challenge. Then I don't believe we'll win the title. Not win the title. I mean, we'll be in the top 2. Sorry, don't jinx it. But we will be in the top 2 come May. I think, yeah, being 4 or 5 points ahead, and by the full-time whistle of Man United, we're guaranteed top 2. And then it's Bono Moonlighting for the Cranberries. Is U2 your favourite band? Oh, we're going down that route now because I mentioned music. I didn't mention it. You mentioned it. What the fuck's going on? The channels are, again, another thing, Danny, you're new to the channel. This is another thing that happens in these live streams, no matter what have been these sort of streams or the actual podcast, the week-to-week podcast we do, or even the matchday watch-alongs. At some point, it just goes into disarray. And the whole chat goes from talking about football and Arsenal to complete nonsense. Oh dear, but it's nonsense in the sense we have a bit of banter, we have a bit of a laugh along the way. Oh dear, Danny will get used to it. Yes. Well, he's still around, so he's hasn't scared him off so far. Oh dear God, I've got to laugh. You don't laugh, you cry. Oh, right, what time is it? Let's have a look. 5:10. You know what, guys? Because someone mentioned it actually earlier on, didn't they? Someone mentioned, I think it was BX in the chat. If he's still there, confirm this, or someone confirm it in the chat. Leicester playing Liverpool. Is it Leicester, Liverpool, or Liverpool, Leicester? Either way, they're playing each other. Either way, Hoover's home, Hoover's away. Liverpool v Leicester, and West Ham v Brentford. Ooh. I don't think the West Ham game's on TV though in the UK. Out of interest, I know I'll get obviously between now and then go and get something, do myself something to eat and all, and set up a thumbnail and all that for the said potential watch along tonight. If you want me to do it ahead of bit of a bonus string, basically, just again come back, have a bit of chat about Arsenal and watch one of the games basically, but also talk about Arsenal and football in general, and give more, and obviously have more of a tribute towards Pele as well. I can cover. I can do a watch along for one of the games you want: West Ham, Brentford, or Liverpool, Leicester. If you want, I can put a poll in the chat. Lee in the chat, Lee Akers. Didn't Shakhtar come out today and say they want in excess of 85 million for Mudryk? We won't pay that. They have not, as far as I'm aware, they have not said that. From what, again, all the reports, literally an hour before I went live, all the reports going around social media are saying that, and I'll put it back up on the screen here. Arsenal and Shakhtar are now in talks. We mentioned at the start of the stream, but I'll mention it again because obviously you just come in. Arsenal and Shakhtar are now in talks to discuss the structure of the agreement for Mudryk. As told, an around €75 million deal at and the majority of that is 60 million up front, plus 15 million in add-ons, could satisfy both sides. So there seems to be now more of a compromise. Yeah, Sky Sports News don't. I don't know, because you might be new to the channel, so I don't know how old you are, whatever, if you're young gun basically coming through and all that. But I learned this a few years ago in 2013. Take no notice of what Sky report. They are literally Sky Sports in the UK. What they report, they're literally a day or two behind what's actually happening. They are literally, and sometimes even wrong in what they report. Obviously, as we found out with Higuain back in the day. But yeah, they are literally, even most recent, they are literally so far behind whatever gets the actual fact of what gets reported. I mean, for example, the Jesus thing, I knew from literally before last season had even ended, I knew the deal was going to be done and what the price was and things like that. I was told by credible sources myself, I'm never going to out them because I need them to be friends with me still. I don't want to lose friends and throw them under the bus. Put it that way. Don't need that aggro in my life. Jesus Christ, get enough of it from other twats on this platform. Less said about that, the better. But no, I knew about that. But literally, Sky didn't report pretty much anything that I knew until a week before pre-season got underway. And even then, they're still out on certain information. I knew the deals, the medical and the deal was all going to be done within days of the season ending. I knew it was in the offing. Sky Sports didn't have a fucking day to do. So I got, mixed up with Vic Akers. I've got similar surnames. I can get where you're coming from, Sam. On that, I'll let you off. We can let you off on that. I'm sure Lee will let you off on that as well. Oh dear. But I'm just saying, again on this, it is showing that Shakhtar are sort of, like I said at the start of this stream, they're admitting defeat. They know they don't hold all the cards in this situation. They may own the player on a contract, but the fact that he's been twerking for us for weeks on end, literally, even most recently on Boxing Day, I think they're sort of they are admitting defeat, but they're willing to compromise now. They're not, because initially it was 100 million euros or whatever the price was that they're demanding, around that 85 to 100 million, the greedish, as they put it, the greedish standpoint. But because obviously Mudryk is twerking his arse off, they've admitted defeat, and it's just, you know what, we'll take what we can. We'll take the best offer possible and we'll run with it. And again, that's going to only benefit us, obviously, because that means they'll get done quicker and it won't be dragging out for weeks on end until deadline day. That's what. But yeah, if you bear with me, guys, before we wrap things up, because this wasn't meant to be a on 20 minutes, bloody hell. This was only meant to be a 40-minute stream. Fucking hell. Things I do for you guys. If you bear with me, I'll put a poll in the chat. I'll give you guys about 5-10 minutes to vote on it. We'll chat about normal bollocks, basically. One second, there you go. So I don't need myself back. Here we go. Right, start a poll. Nope. Oh, for God's sake, bloody thing. Way round. That's the one. Might try for some earlier time with Arsenal playing at 5:30. Obviously, talking to Sam and Gary, talking to Joel about Gary's stream tomorrow. Do actually go and check out Gary. If you haven't already, do go and check out Gary's channel over on obviously it's on it. Literally search DWGT and you'll find his channel and all that, what he does, and his podcast and what he does every week. And go subscribe to him as well. Right. Right, here we go. Ask. There you go. And then we're going to close that. And then you've got some polls there. Polls quite simply: do you want a Premier League watch along tonight? Yes or no, basically. Give you guys about 5-10 minutes to vote on that, and then if it's a yes, unanimous, outstanding yes, or just whatever, even if whoever wins, basically, if a yes wins, basically, I'm gonna have to go away and make myself a thumbnail for later. Yay! Whilst cooking the dinner. Yay! Oh dear. Gary, Mudryk just won Player of the Year. Well, say you won. It was the fans' Player of the Year for Shakhtar Donetsk. The fans vote, basically. That's why he's worth £100 million. Oh dear, gotta laugh. I don't even want to try and pronounce your name there because I don't want to offend you or anyone for that matter. I like to Mudryk in the red and white shirt. You'd like to see Mudryk in a red and white shirt. Oh, we all would, mate. We all would. Welcome to the channel, by the way. I haven't seen you before. obviously hope you do say subscribe long term and come more of a regular on the channel along with the OGs of this channel you see in the chat currently. Yeah, obviously, and Joao Felix as well, the red and white of Arsenal instead of Atletico, which will piss my brother off, but I don't care. If you know, you know. If you're an OG, you know. Where's the hell no option? Cheeky bastard. You don't have to come along, Gary. You get rid of this. Bloody hell, keeps popping up. Top screen, there you go. Alright, let's have a look and see how we're doing on that side of things. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, playing game in the end because it's UK and we know what the UK mindset is. The only game on offer would be Liverpool v Leicester. So that if that sways the vote or not, I don't know. Anyone from Paul's Bar get Zaha? PX, stop it with Zaha. You can do my head in now. Oh dear, gotta laugh. I would like to see how your brother's reacting to that. You should have been here. You should have been here on in the, if not on the actual stream, but in there or in the chat. You should have been here on Boxing Day. Gary and all the others that was in here on the night, they'll back it up. My brother was spitting his dummy. He came on. Even Joel will back it up as well. He was in a. It wasn't on. He was in the background. You could hear him basically mouthing up. Well, started off the game. He obviously lost track of time and all that, but after the time he come down, it was 1-0 to West Ham, and he was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake," because he had a better Arsenal keeping a clean sheet to win. But yeah, he's then there for 20 minutes, going literally whilst I'm there talking to Gary and Joel coming at half time. My brother's in the other side of the sofa going like the back tune to obviously there's the Lieber chant and all that, giving it last, giving it me trying not to jump over off screen and pound him into the ground because he won't piss off. And then he moved over, sat next to a bit off screen, again giving it mouth to the point where Gary and Joel asking, "What's his fucking problem? Right, if you need to go off there and give him a good hiding, you can. We'll take over." And then the second half got underway, and 1-1, get in there, 2-1, and when it went 2-1, I'm celebrating. He's like, and there's a clip out on, I think it's on Twitter. I think I put it out. I used it to promote the actual the stream at the time, and he's there. And you can hear him in the background. Oh, I bet you can hear him in the background going, "I bet you're happy." I'm like, "Yeah, of course I'm fucking happy. We just got back in the game at 1-1. No, I'm depressed. And Gary's like, "What's he got to be depressed about? What's his problem?" And I just piped up, "Well, he might be a bit upset because I got him an Atletico home shirt and got Joao Felix on the back." He's like, "Oh, I knew you got that on purpose." Oh dear. Oh dear. So yeah, brother's not taking it well. He ain't taking it too well at the moment. Doesn't as Danny's saying, doesn't bother me if you do a watch on. I'll be at a darts comp tonight. Oh, okay, good luck to you on that. Hope you do well on that. No, I'm just saying because I don't do more time like neutral one. It's mainly, as I say, Arsenal podcast, this sort of stream now, and Arsenal watch-alongs for like the men's team and the women's team, respectively. Sorry, this thing sounds quite make me smoke a bit more. No, so yeah, it's mainly in terms of watch-alongs, it's mainly the Arsenal men's and the Arsenal women's teams that I do watch-alongs for. And yeah, we have a bit. Either way, we have a bit of the neutral ones are like the Leeds Man City ones more because obviously we've got a couple of Leeds fans that are subscribed to the channel. It involved Man City. I was hoping for a miracle. I thought it'd be my luck if I don't cover it. Leeds might pull a miracle, and it backfired. So, but we all got to laugh at the end of the day as well. on that one. Potter's Bar, I'm from a little way north of where Bedfordshire. Okay. Obviously, someone mentioned, I'm just asking in the chat, okay. I'm just mainly putting comments on the screen now. And yeah, this is a comment I saw and I started smacking. If Joao Felix comes to Arsenal, that would be classic, mate. The thing is, I bought the shirt. I stand by it, but no, people can believe me if they don't believe it or not. I literally bought the shirt for him. I think was it September. Back into September, I bought that shirt. All the print and all that, and so hence before all the rumours and the World Cup, we used to say, I'm out. I want out of Atletico, and then we've seen recently what's happened with that, and now the rumours of Arsenal. I'm thinking, oh, for God's sake, no. Oh, he's going to be what would have been worse from his perspective if I'd given him the shirt with Joao Felix on the back, which I did. If I'd done that, and in the meantime we'd agreed a deal before that for him to come to us on loan, he would have lost his mind. But then saying that, again, because he didn't know what I got him for Christmas and all that at the time. When it all came out that Joao Felix wanted out of Atletico and has been linked with Arsenal, heavily linked with Arsenal, by the way, at the time. And again, Gary can back me up on, because I mentioned this other night on the Boxing Day stream. Me and my brother having a conversation about it. He's like, because he likes now for you, Joao Felix. He's like, you know what? If he comes to Arsenal, I'm going to be an Arsenal fan again. Wherever Joao Felix goes, I go. I'm like, so if you're being genuine here. If he comes to Arsenal, you're coming back to us. Yeah, I'm holding into that. Oh dear. Cunning saying, watching sounds good. Need a good chat. Yeah, been a while. I ain't seen you for a few months, my friend. Thought we maybe bored you to death. Oh dear. Mr. Bungle's in the chat as well. Got Troy in the. Obviously, Troy also mentioned Cunning, but yeah, one of his many personas. Actually thinking about it. Never mind. Oh dear, but I think we're going to start wrapping things up because it's an hour and a half going on, and what, 50 minutes longer than planned, basically, give or take. And I've now got to possibly set up for another stream for 8 o'clock kickoff. 27 votes so far, 78% saying yeah. Okay, you best all come back. Nope. No, 75% now. Okay, another vote's going no. But the yeses are one by the looks of it. Another minute. We go to 10 in a second. I'll end the poll. Why did your bro downgrade to West Ham United? He's not a West Ham fan. He doesn't. He couldn't stand it that Arsenal actually came back from behind. And there we go. End the poll there. Literally, brother couldn't stand Arsenal came from behind on Boxing Day, 1-1, 2-1 so quickly. Especially when Marty scored that goal, and obviously Fabianski, he's near post, and I'm there giving it like, get in there, fucking celebrating, giving it large, and he's just like, he's like, this is bullshit. The third goal gives him from Eddie. I'm literally like, go on, Eddie, yes, you bastard. He's in the midst of all that, as I said to guys on stream, he got up as I'm celebrating and walked out the room and murmured the infamous words of, this is bullshit. So he ain't liking it. But mate, the irony is, when Atletico won the league a couple of years back, it was all throughout the entire time, even though they were unbeaten at one point. No, not going to happen. Not going to happen. It's like Atletico are going to win the league. Look at Madrid. Look at Barca. There's no competition this season. You've won it. No. Arsenal. We're going up against Man City. For fuck's sake, we're 5 points clear. We've got competition. I'm like, game by game. And off air, he occasionally goes, "You do realise you're going to win it? It's written. It's written. It's written." It's like, no, it's not. It's not written. It's Man City. If we win it, fantastic. If we don't, we go next season. But yeah, my brother's not the West Ham. My cousin is a West Ham fan. My uncle's a West Ham fan, and my granddad's a West Ham fan. Over on my mum's side of the family, or from that side, and my mum's side, and on the Irish side of the family, doing all bar one, everyone bar one, and on the Irish side of the family, from my mum's side, are Man United fans. Barring one, who's an Arsenal fan, and he's my mum's cousin, my second cousin. Oh dear. Gary saying, "Ryan, tell your brother no one thing that as an Arsenal fan he can't join. Sorry, I'll let him know. If Joao Felix comes, I'll let him know." They've got Ollie in the chat. That's where we wrap things up. Ollie, he's a Leeds fan. Go check out his channel, by the way. Absolutely smashing it recently, obliterating it. Even if his team is a bit hit and miss this season, he's smashing it. He's making the best of a bad situation, or an inconsistent situation. Not a bad situation, an inconsistent situation. Can you do us a favour, Ollie? Can you sort of put one on the Newcastle on the weekend? Knock their confidence a bit, so we've got a bit of a chance on Tuesday night ourselves. Oh dear, but with that, yeah, I'm going to wrap things up because, as I say, I'm going to get myself something to eat and sort of thumbnail out for later on for the Liverpool v Leicester game. Yay! Where Liverpool probably thump Leicester because Leicester are crap. Woo! We'll also keep an eye on West Ham Brentford, obviously, but the main one will be obviously Liverpool Leicester. But even though Leicester are crap, and they'll get pounded off the park like they did against Newcastle. So they'll probably never stay in the job. Oh dear, but we'll come back. We'll do it. So what? 8 o'clock kickoff. I'll double check that now. Actually, make sure it is 8 o'clock. I'm not saying it and come back either. Yeah, 8 o'clock kickoff. Sorry. So we'll go live about 10 to about 10 to 8 tonight. We'll come back to Liverpool v Leicester as a neutral watch. We've got no vested interest in the game whatsoever. No jeopardy for us whatsoever. So we should sit back, see what happens. If a shock happens, we enjoy it. If there's some good football, we enjoy it. Very much unlikely, but you never know. And we also get to see the media knocking one out over Gakpo going to Liverpool. Woo! Ollie, before we go, we can't beat anyone. I doubt we'll beat Newcastle. Oh, you never know. You never know. It's New Year's and all that. You never know. Could be a belated Christmas present. You never know. We can all hope. That's what I'm just hoping. I just want there's a bit of a confidence knocker for them. That's all I want. Give them a bit of a confidence knocker. Be it taking a point or 3 points off them. Either way, I'll be happy. Then at least Newcastle, going into Tuesday, against Newcastle at home, we can be like, we can get at them. They're not invincible. They can drop points too. Oh dear. If worst case, if you do get absolutely torn a new one like you did the other night and don't turn up, can you at least take Amron out, please? At the very least. I'm loving the Arsenal at the moment. I cannot. And again, as I say, you're a Leeds fan, you're neutral. I'm still again, taking the rival fans out of the equation. There, I've seen a lot of this on YouTube and on the socials, that the ones that anyone that's a football fan that's not connected to Tottenham, Man United, City, Chelsea, even Liverpool, for God's sake, everyone, pretty much all other fan bases are sort of saying, as a neutral outside of our own respective club, we actually are liking what we're seeing from Arsenal. It's actually pleasing to watch Arsenal all of a sudden, from a footballing point of view. Leeds will surprise you and beat Newcastle. They do. I'll love Ollie forever. And all the Leeds fans. I'll love them forever. Never say a bad word about them ever again. I'll forgive them for Mark. I'll forgive the Leeds and Mark Viduka for 2003 as well. that everything will be given if they can do something against Newcastle. But with that, we are going to wrap things up. I've been saying for God knows how long now, but we are going to wrap things up. Thanks everyone that's popped along and all the new subs to the channel. Thanks, massively appreciate that. And hopefully you guys do stick around and come back for more Arsenal content and more football content going forward. As I say, we're going to be unexpectedly, we will be back at around quarter to 10 to 8 this evening for the Liverpool versus Leicester City watch along we're going to do. And then tomorrow, from an Arsenal perspective, we're back for Arsenal with Brighton versus Arsenal, because it's at Brighton, at 5 o'clock UK time, half hour before the game kicks off. Get myself, Liam and Gary and whoever else is available to pop in, get our thoughts on the team, building up to the game. Get you guys a half hour to get in settled and get your game on your end as well. And hopefully Arsenal can end the year on a high with 3 points and keep our 5-point gap between us and City going into the new year, which going into January would be huge actually. So be massively appreciated if Arsenal do turn up, but we'll be there for that. And then obviously the match of the day stream tomorrow night as well, and then New Year's Day, match of day 2 if it's on. And then we build up for Newcastle. We've got the Who Am I quiz. We're still trying to get the guarantee in terms of guarantees. I mean, we're trying to get everyone confirmed for that. So bear with us on that. But that's, as it stands, that's still going ahead on Monday. 7 o'clock UK time, that's going ahead. Mike McDonald's Who Am I quiz is coming up for a festive special. His idea from a couple of days ago reached out to me, so we're trying to organise that as we speak. And then on Tuesday, we're back with the Arsenal-Newcastle game. And then we just relax for a few days until the Arsenal play Oxford, and we'll try and chuck a podcast in after the Newcastle game before Arsenal play Oxford in the FA Cup the following Monday. And then again, in between that, if any other news comes out transfer-wise about Mudryk or Joao Felix or whoever, like credible to talk about, basically, we're back here again for another transfer show as well. And we're going to do that as well every other day. Once the next one comes along, every other day afterwards, for the rest of the month until the window closes. And hopefully we get our business on nice and early and crack on. And don't leave it lastminute.com. You never know. Could be, the miracles do happen sometimes. But until then, I'll see you on the other side. As always, up the Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners.